What's up guys? Hope you guys are having a good day today, and today's video is focused on a North America Tryndamere player called Uncle, who is currently Masters tier. His main champion is Tryndamere with over 1,000 games played and a 2.79 to 1 KDA. He has had a pretty steady climb since he has started playing League of Legends. He was Platinum in Season 4 with over 1,000 games with Tryndamere, Diamond in Season 5 with over 600 games with Tryndamere, Masters in Season 6 with over 800 games with Tryndamere, and Masters in Season 7 with over 1,000 games with Tryndamere. So, from these stats, I guess it's pretty safe to say this dude knows how to play Tryndamere. This video is going to look at Uncle's build, including his runes and masteries, followed by some tips and tricks of Tryndamere, and then we will go into the advantages and disadvantages of Tryndamere as a champion in general. So, let's get to it. Starting off with Uncle's summoner spells, he always takes Teleport and Flash. Although some Tryndameres take Ghost for the purpose to chase down enemy champions, for Tryndamere, Flash gives him the opportunity to utilize his E and Flash combo, which we will go into later. But generally speaking, Uncle prefers Flash to shorten distances between him and the enemy rather than using Ghost, because crowd control abilities can cancel the Ghost's purpose, whereas with Flash, you cannot interrupt it once it has been activated. He takes Teleport because of the ability to increase map presence by ganking other lanes during laning phase, to split push to apply pressure to the map, which can draw attention to him, thus easing the pressure to his teammates. He also uses Teleport to minimize time away from lane during laning phase to prevent him from falling behind. Next, let's take a look at the runes and masteries. So for Uncle's runes, he takes attack damage reds, magic resist per level blues, cooldown per level blues, armor yellows, and attack speed quintessences. Another rune page he likes to go with is attack speed reds, magic resist blues, health per level yellows, 1 attack speed quintessence, and 2 armor quintessences. For his masteries page, he takes 18 under ferocity, 0 under cunning, and 12 under resolve. His keystone is Fervor of Battle. This suits Tryndamere's kit because Tryndamere is a dueling champion, so as he is dueling and hitting his basic attacks, his AD will increase, thus doing more damage, which can give him the edge in a close fight. The skill order that Uncle goes with is the following. He first takes E, then Q, until level 4, where he takes W. He first maxes Q, followed by E, then W, and levels up his ultimate whenever he is given the chance to do so. Now let's go on to the item build. So his starting item depends on his lane matchup. If he is against a laner where he wins the matchup, or if it is a 50-50, he would start Doran's Blade. If it is a matchup with someone who is a lane bully, like Renekton or Gangplank, then you would start Doran's Shield for the tank stats to help him survive in lane. With either of these items, he would take a health potion and a yellow trinket. After his first recall, he would then build Vampiric Scepter for the lifesteal to help him with the sustain. His core items are Static Shiv, Berserker's Greaves, Infinity's Edge, and Phantom Dancer. The order that he builds these items in is Static Shiv, BF's Sword, Berserker's Greaves, he finishes Infinity's Edge, and usually his 5th item is Phantom Dancer. After these core items are purchased, he does have some optional items. These items are Black Cleaver, or Lord Dominic's Regards for armor penetration. He would build Blade of the Rune King to complete his lifesteal item. In terms of shoes, he would build Ninja Tabby against a more AD team, or he would build Mercury's Treads against a more AP team, or a team with high CC. If the enemy is not a threat and there isn't too much crowd control, then you'll stick with Berserker's Greaves. Okay, so now that we got the build out of the way, let's look at some tips and tricks for Tryndamere. Most of these are from Uncle's YouTube video, which you can watch in the link below, but because it is outdated, I chose the most up-to-date and most practical tips for Tryndamere. So, the first tip is to attack and E away from your opponent. So what you do is, you throw your basic attack, and as soon as your basic attack lands, you E away. This is good if you want to land a basic attack on your opponent when they are under tower, because when you use your E, and if you do it fast enough, you can trade without the turret attacking you. Also, this tip is effective against melee champions with slow attack speed because they will not be able to land their basic attack, or against players with a slow reaction speed because of them not reacting fast enough to trade with you. This is a pretty simple action but can be utilized to harass your opponent or to give the finishing basic attack if your enemy has low health. The next tip is the Flash E combo, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The E Flash combo is when you use your E to max range and then flash towards the enemy or wherever the location you want to move to. The reason why this is a great tool is that it is a very large gap closer. This can be useful when chasing opponents or getting the backline in team fights. Also, it could be utilized as a surprise action in your lane. For example, let's say you and your opponent at top traded with both of you having low health. You could use this combo to close the distance and catch the enemy by surprise. Another tip given by Uncle is to Fury stack as you use your Fury. So what I mean is, if you have full Fury and you want to heal, you can basic attack and press Q at the same time, and that basic attack will count to stack your Fury again. If the basic attack crits, then it could have a larger build of Fury from that basic attack. This is useful and most practical when farming in lane. Another tip is about Tryndamere's W and making sure you know how to use it correctly. Players in lower elo only tend to use Tryndamere's W just to chase down the enemy, but remember that his W also reduces the attack damage of all nearby enemies, so if you are in range against your AD laner, you should use it once you duel each other rather than just to chase them. Also, remember that his W slow only works if the opponent's back are towards you, so either you adjust your position to be behind them or wait for them to turn their back towards you. You'll know when the slow works when the chicken appears on top of their heads. Now, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of Tryndamere as a champion. One of the advantages of Tryndamere is that he has a great gap closer, which is his E, to chase down enemy champions or escape from danger. Also, he has great sustain with his Q, which allows him to stay healthy during his laning phase. His W slow is great to chase down enemies out of position or to chase a team during a team fight. Another advantage is that he is a great split pusher, probably one of the best in the game, and because of his kit, he can easily escape from the split push lane if being chased with his E or even his ultimate if he needs to use it. Another advantage is that Tryndamere scales extremely well into late game, and with the correct items, he can one-shot AD carries and squishy champions. And because you can delete the enemy AD carry, you should have an easy time if it's late game. Another advantage is that he is great in 1v1s. The reason for this is because Tryndamere is a jeweler, meaning that he just needs to constantly auto-attack to get his damage off, and also because of his ultimate, which can prolong the fight to work in his favor. Remember that your W decreases the AD of nearby enemies, so use it in 1v1s. Now, let's go on to the disadvantages of Tryndamere. One disadvantage is that he is a melee champion. This is a problem especially during laning phase, where he can easily be harassed and zoned out by ranged champions, which could lead to having low CS and falling behind. Also, because he's a melee champion, he can be kited by AD carries and mobile ranged champions, where even if he uses his E, if the opponent can kite well enough, they can keep enough distance to keep Tryndamere at a disadvantage. As Tryndamere, you need your core items to be able to split push well or duel against champions, so until that happens, he needs to farm as much as possible, which could mean that he wouldn't be present in team fights. Another disadvantage is that he is weak against burst champions. Because Tryndamere is a jeweler, a burst champion can outdamage Tryndamere given that the enemy can 100 to 0 him in a fight, or if they can kite him long enough for Tryndamere's ult to be used up. This leads to another disadvantage, which is that if the enemy team has heavy crowd control, Tryndamere will have a tough time in team fights, and because he's squishy, he will either die or use his ultimate to survive, but then he would have to retreat. So, when should you pick Tryndamere? You should pick Tryndamere if the enemy composition has low crowd control, if they are squishy, or if they do not have mobile champions. These comps favor Tryndamere in team fights, which could lead to Tryndamere potentially carrying the game. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comment on what other guides you want to see me do next. If there is any feedback, I'll be happy to take a look at it. And I just want to thank all the viewers and subscribers for the support of this channel. I really do appreciate it. I will be uploading weekly, so expect a video a week. Once I plan a schedule, I will put it on my channel so you guys know when to expect a video. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.